I recently did a video talking about an end of year review, 2024 end of year review. Within that end of year review, I also spoke about what I see for my future going into 2025. And I see a lot of big things. People that have seen my journey, they'll know highly ambitious, highly intelligent. I am spiritual, so I have a deep connection to source, to spirit. I could use my cards for this video, but I'm not going to do that because there's no point. It's irrelevant, but just showing certain aspects. But I also want to show realities of what I'm living through at the moment. I don't have to do that, but I think transparency is important in the long term. I don't care about people's projections on my life, so it's irrelevant. So I don't feel inferior in any way if my circumstances are more of a burden and struggle in the present, because our circumstances don't define us. Sometimes it's the building blocks to where we're going, and that's okay. Effectively, I think actually creates a lot of strength and wisdom through struggles. So if you go through something that's quite difficult, and it might on the outside it might seem like you're, some people might say pathetic, you're actually gaining a lot of resilience in that period. So you know what it's like to struggle, so you can transition through it. Whereas other people in a similar circumstances, they would get depressed, they'd lose their minds, and they would suffer immeasurably. But people that are used to struggling, used to suffering, they know how to navigate it. It's like walking through the chaos. When it happens, it's like, okay, I'll just deal with this. So I don't feel it's inferior to someone who has more than me, because I know my qualities, I know what I can offer, and I know how strong I am in my own life. So I know what I'm talking about pretty much. So I just thought I'd talk about that because I just thought it's really important just for this stage of things. So I've spoken in the past, or just recently even, how I get a lot of signs about potentially being a millionaire, really in the spotlight, a completely different life. Now, follow my journey, it makes sense. People don't follow my journey, it'll seem wild and crazy when I'm about to tell you my current circumstances. It would seem absolutely mental. Again, I get just as frustrated as anybody else in the circumstances because I think it's incredibly unfair. The work I put in, you look with my books, that's just like the tip of the iceberg. I've been trying to help people for years. My work just doesn't get recognised. I just don't get anywhere. Now, I know the door's going to open at some point, and I will get thrust into the spotlight, and my life will change immeasurably. But like I said, today, that doesn't help me today. Does it derail me? No. Does it take me off center? No. Does it stop me progressing forward? No. So these are the things I'm always pushing forward. I'm going to be working on my book irrelevantly. Either way, my next book my spiritual book is coming out in the spring. I'm going to be focusing for health forever, regardless of my circumstances. So let's talk about circumstances and how crazy it is and how pathetic it is in an extent. I've had a back issue for a long time. It's just getting worse. I think as age we get problems. I've had an issue with my knee for a while. The other knee sometimes has problems. It turns out I've got Raynaud's syndrome, so I've got my blood circulation isn't the best. So in the cold, it really hits. Like my feet are often freezing when other people aren't. Like for instance, my daughter says if she's hot or warm, and I'm like, I'm thinking my feet are freezing. She thinks that's nuts. But it's like, it is what it is. But my back, I had to put, I always talk about this. When I have to do things that exert myself, in the past you could do it, and now it actually causes me problems with my back, and I know it's going to happen. So I've had to dismantle the Christmas trim things. Now, sometimes you just got to do things. There's no other person to do it for you. So like if you do something, it looks like, oh, you're capable. It's like, no, you're not capable, because my back now, I'm in bed, just woke up, and my back is in pain, and that's just laying flat. My back is like really in pain, like crazy. Like people are walking all over it. It's really bad. And it's been like a couple of days now. It's worse today, and it's like this is absolutely a nightmare. So at the moment, because of the circumstance, I have to claim certain benefits, and I don't like claiming benefits. Who does? But sometimes your circumstances are such that you just need it. Like, what else can you do? And in the UK, the benefits they do not support you enough at all. It's a joke, unless you lie. If the system is, if you exaggerate something and you embellish, then you can get higher award. So you can actually get, people do quite well when they're on it, if they're on the right things. I won't lie about anything, so you don't always fit the criteria based on what they're expecting, because I think these questions are set for you to exaggerate, and I just think it's ridiculous. I'm too honest for my own good, but I refuse to lie to gain. So if I tell the truth and I get declined, then I get declined. If the system's crap, then it's crap. It's like I'm not here to lie to make the system better. It's not going to happen. Um, So I applied for something before and I got declined. I was like, well, that's the system, that's the system. But, I hear about other people who've got hardly anything wrong with them. And I know about this from people, and yet they get it. And I'm like, well, they must have lied then, because if their circumstance is less than mine and they've got it, then obviously they've lied somewhere, because you can't get it otherwise. And it's like, to each their own, right? You shouldn't have to, though. The basic principle is that should be there to support you. You shouldn't have to lie. So mine is such that I barely get anything every month. It is really tight. Like, it's ridiculously tight. When you add up all the bills, for instance, it's like that doesn't even cover it. How the hell are you supposed to get through this? This doesn't make sense. How is that livable? It doesn't add up. And yet they expect you to get on. I think it's mad. So anyone that's struggling, it's like the struggle can be seriously real. Because none of it makes sense. So, for instance, right now, I've had a load of bills go out. On the first of each month, all the bills go out. And I'm always aware this is going to be a freaking nightmare. Like, how bad is this month? Now, we've had Christmas and things. I've done things with my daughter. I've sold a few things. It's like, so you get through. I always find a way to get through, But it does get a bit, like, exhausting when you've put so much work into everything. I shouldn't be in this situation, I feel. I should already be in a further forward. The work I put in for the time I put in. Effectively, what I do shouldn't even affect my back. Shouldn't even be an issue. My books, I think, on their own, should be changing people's lives, and in the process, change mine. But unfortunately, that hasn't happened yet. It doesn't stop me giving hope to trying to help people with my insights and the way I see the world, and resetting yourself and really focusing on building a life that you want to live, which is exactly what I do. And I'm showing the stages of that. It's not going to be click your fingers and the world changes. It's gonna be adjusting your life and acting accordingly. And there's gonna be times when you're gonna go through struggles. It's not always gonna be easy. So a lot of people, when they go through struggles, they go back to the old version because they're terrified of change. They're terrified of struggle. It's not fun. It's not fun, of course. So I've got a situation right now where I had like 300. I put why do I because money is that's tight. I have to put money in a savings account, and you can transfer it in immediately. I know in America there's like different systems and things can be slow with money transfers and things. It's wild out there. It's like the Wild West. Something I don't understand how it's not instant, but in the UK it's instant. So if I put money in one account and I decide to move it to another account, as soon as I press the button, it's straight into the account. So I can literally go into the shop, for instance, the store, and even as I'm approaching this to checkout, or even at checkout, I can transfer the money between the accounts. So effectively, I do that because the money's that tight that I can't afford really for a bill or a transaction to try to take money that I'm not expecting right now. It could be anything. Let's say you forgot about a subscription service. Let's say it's Netflix or something, anything. Let's say you forgot to cancel one of the subscriptions. There's a lot to handle in life, isn't there? Which is why I talk a lot about these streaming services that just sucking us dry. Let's say you forget about that bill and you're about to pay for your shopping, and that's all you have really. You've made sure you've got enough to pay for it, so you go to the till and you check out, and you're expecting to be able to afford it, and now all of a sudden that bill goes out. All of a sudden they've just drained your resources, so you can't get your fuel, your petrol, your gas, whatever you want to call it, for your vehicle. You can't get your shopping, whatever it is. It's just knocked you completely off. So what I do, I put it in my savings account, and then when I'm about to pay, I then transfer it. So I know, like, literally, that means I'm quicker than the transaction. Hopefully, there's like literally maybe 20 seconds between me doing that and me paying. So there's a problem there. So that's where I'm having to be. So this is actually, you'd find this remarkable. You probably wouldn't even believe me if I said it, but I'm not showing because I've got my bank account numbers and my sort code numbers and all sorts. I'm not going to give that out to public. I'm not that stupid. But I'll tell you what I've got. So today it's usually the first, but we had bank holidays, we've got the second. I don't have to show this stuff. I'm going to show it because I want people to understand how really tight money can be for me. But look how resilient I am and how focused I am. And that's really the part I want to ingrain in people. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not looking for handouts. I don't live like that. I don't ask anyone for anything. I just work my way through it. It's a shit month. Okay. Most people's Januaries are shit anyway. That's that way. Sometimes you've got to think it's not just you. Everyone's struggling. Maybe some more than others. It is what it is. So after all the bills have gone out today, I'm minus £293 in my bank account. Now, if I don't pay that by, I think it's like 3 p.m. today, all of them would get returned. And all those bills, those people are going to get angry. If you've not paid it, you're going to have to talk to them. There may be admin fees for missed payments. There may be warnings that you've missed it, and now there's further action. All sorts of things. The stress of it isn't worth the hassle. So that's £293. In my savings account, I have £300. So Now I have another payment coming on. I don't get a lot at all. This is ridiculous. This is what I get, and then I get that, and then I've got another payment coming on Saturday. I expect as my money goes in on a Saturday rather than a Monday. So I've got another payment for £180 on Saturday, but then I have to wait another 2 weeks for another 180. So it's really not a lot a week or a month, whatever. By the time you add it up, it's pretty shit. It's only about I think £600-700 a month. This is what you have to live on at the moment. It's barbaric. When you do the maths and all the bills, every bill, that's not enough, and I'm having to sort of wiggle my way through this crap. And in the UK, we have to have our cars MOT'd. So that means they have to have them roadworthy checked. And even the slightest thing, they'll say that needs fixing. Last year, I had to pay, I think, like £500 for a headlight because the headlight was one unit. It was a whole process. It's like, this is a nightmare. So one little thing could really derail your whole thing. So my car is due for an MOT soon, in a week. Let's see where that goes through. If it goes through with any issues, I'm going to have a big problem. Let's be honest. We're going to have a problem. So anyway, so I'm minus 293, but I have 300 in my savings account. Now I could just transfer the 300 to my main account, and then we're fine. It just means I've got £6 or £7 left to spend. That's it. The trouble is, I do have to travel. I have to do some traveling, and it means there's no wiggle room for absolutely anything. So there is a risk with that. So my plan for today is I'll probably take it all the way up to about 2:30 p.m. or something, and then I'll decide if I'm going to just put it all in or not. And then we'll see and then just cope for the next few days. But even then, when I get that other money, I've still got bills coming out my arse. I keep forgetting sometimes my car insurance is due on the 15th of each month. So that has to last me, because there's an overlap. The car insurance comes about 3 days before the next payment. Well, the car insurance don't care about that. They've got the issue with the car insurance is they're a nightmare. If you miss a payment, they add like £20 admin fee. So I've done that before where it's gone out. I didn't manage to put the money in time, so I've still tried to pay it that day, and they've said there's nothing they could do about it because that day is the automatic payment. They can't do anything. So you're definitely getting the charge. So now all of a sudden you're struggling to pay it all anyway, and now you've got another 20 quid to find. It's like, this is an absolute nightmare. So I can't afford to miss that one next month. You still need food. So when I get money on the weekend, for instance, I need food. I'm going to need petrol, fuel, and I need quite a lot of that because of the journey I'm doing, like returning my daughter home. So by the time I've done that and the petrol and the food, yeah, it's going to push me quite hard with all this. So literally this month is a freaking nightmare, in all honesty. It's going to be tough as hell. I'm not looking for sympathy at all. I just want people to see really how tricky this is and how really uncomfortable it gets. I pay the bills right now and I've got £6, and yet I've got to do a long travel. And that has to last to the weekend. But even the weekend, they're still going to have to pay everything anyway. There's no wiggle. But there has been. Let's be honest. I've managed to sell some things and whatnot, and we've had a good Christmas. And sometimes you could say it's your own doing. We bought a few more Blu-rays, some DVDs, and things like that. So I haven't gone without. Overall, I haven't always gone without. I sometimes like break away and decide I want this and I want that, because it's horrible struggling all the time. It's not a nice feeling. But as we go into January, it's like, this is an absolute nightmare. So January is just going to be a write-off month. It's going to be a month where you're just going to have to suck it up and just accept the losses and just say, this is tough. Because of my back problems, it really does limit me, and it actually angers me a lot. It really does, because I'm not someone that's lazy, as anyone can see by the consistency of my video content. I'm always front and center. You see my books, I work hard at my books. And I've got no problem working hard in general, I don't mind working. Look, I don't like saying certain jobs are beneath me, because I've always said they're not. But now, because of where I'm at, I feel like I've outshone it, and I could do a lot more of my life than working in like a warehouse, for instance. But I actually have no problem working in those places. I get bored quite quick now because my mind's always racing, and I'm always like more advanced in my intelligence than doing something manual now. It doesn't stimulate me. That's where the problem comes. But now, because of my back, I can't do what I used to do. And that's really a frustration, because financially I could get out of this so quick. Now, my spiritual side of me tells me that I've been put in this situation on purpose to stop me keep going back. The universe does things in certain ways for us, and I don't want to derail that message and doing that, because there's other sides to it all. But there's like an innate understanding within me that everything happens how it's supposed to, and you just have to go with it. Effectively, there's no point me keep looking at what I can't do and just look at what I can do. And that's what I'm doing. So yeah, it's going to be tough. Money's a nightmare. But you sometimes just got to switch your mind off from money and just say, fine, it's just going to be a nightmare. You're going to have to make peace with that one. So what can I do? And this is how I always am. It's like I'm always being, you know? It's like I don't sit there and just sulk on the floor, curl up in a ball and go, life's such a nightmare. This is unfair. I can't get out of it. I just feel sorry for myself. I don't feel sorry for myself. I just get angry. I get frustrated. I feel like the Hulk, you know? Just want to just go mental. It's like, this is not fair. But I'm forward thinking and I take action. So even if I'm successful, for instance, if I'm wealthy or if I'm poor, it doesn't cost me anything to make my books. It doesn't cost me anything to put my thoughts on the page. It doesn't cost anything for me to talk on camera. So whether I was wealthy or I'm poor, I will always keep doing what I feel called to do. So my circumstances are irrelevant. I can still sit in front of the camera. So even if I had distractions because I'm wealthy, I'm still going to put myself where I do, and I'm still going to create what I want to create. In the same way, if my financial circumstances are crippling and really hard, it's not going to derail me from the message I'm going to deliver. So my circumstances I don't believe, or at least within myself, I don't think my circumstances weaken or strengthen the message. The message is the message. I share what I've been through to help people grow and transcend beyond the circumstances, you know? Reset. Like I'm trying to say though, the reset takes courage, it takes sacrifice. There's going to be periods when you're going to go to the depths of despair, but it's how you react to that is really going to be telling. So I can sit here in a few hours with £7 to my name. That's the equivalent of $7. And you could say because they don't have a lot of resources, their opinion is meaningless. And I'd say that's for you to decide. Because the thing is, some of these people who are wealthy, and you may look and think, I'm going to listen to them. Some of them don't know what it's like to struggle. They haven't been to the lowest points. They've never had to. So maybe they say some wise things. Maybe there is a level of intelligence, but do they truly know what it's like to be at the bottom? And if you look at me, I don't just think I look weak and pathetic. I don't feel weak and pathetic. I just feel frustrated. And it makes me more resilient. It makes me more fired up to change the circumstances. But I'm changing it on my terms. I'm not allowing external pressures to dictate to me. So I'm not being forced to attend this appointment. I'm not being forced to do this and turn. I'll do everything on my terms and I'll weigh it up. Even if I've had so many sanctions. So my money's this tight, and yet I've accepted sanctions as well. I've cost, like even last year, I've had loads of sanctions. That money is that tight, and I've had it halved sometimes because I've refused to attend something because I'm like, no, you're asking me to, because this is what I've had along the way. I've had pressure put on me to effectively sometimes to apply and potentially return to jobs that have destroyed my back just because it fits the status quo and it's a tick for whatever it is they want you to do. And I'm like, no, I've got a doctor's certificate, a doctor note that is saying I can't do anything for 2 weeks because of my back. And then and then it's been extended. So I'll get another one and another one, and another. Doctor signing it off. So who are you to tell me that I should be doing that when I'm not? And if I do what you want me to do, then there's a risk to my back further, isn't there? So then I can have lifelong issues just because you wanted a box ticked. Well, I'm not doing that to my health. So if I have to take a financial hit for that, then I'll just take the hit then. If that's the policy, that's your policy. I'll just take the hit because I'd rather struggle financially than health. Your health is the most important part. I think people need to figure that part out. If you keep just feeling the pressure of people and you do what they want you to do just because it ticks their boxes and makes them feel good, it's a tough shit. I can have nothing then. I can cope with nothing. If you can cope with little, you can cope with nothing. You get it? It's like, so I beat to my own drum. I still do what needs to be done. I take responsibility seriously. But if something goes against my better judgment, then I will not. I will do what I want. I decide all the time. So if someone makes an appointment and I don't want to attend that appointment, guess what? I'm not going to that appointment. Someone's expecting me to be available on this certain period, this date, at this time, and I don't think I should be there at this date time. I'm not going. I'm not doing it. I'd already told them. you know, I'm not saying for people to mirror and follow me how I do things because I'm very unique in the way I behave. But I think the one thing to maybe perhaps look at is if you look at me and you didn't know any of those things, do I look weak and pathetic to you? Do I look like someone that doesn't believe in themselves? I mean, that's for people to decide all those things, but believe me, I am more confident in myself every day. I've been through my pits of despair. I know how to walk through hell pretty much. Um, and I'm working my way to paradise effectively, and I'll get there. Believe me, I'll reach that beach. I'll reach that beach. You have to walk through some burning sand to get there, and you're gonna have people keep trying to push you over, and they're gonna try to keep pulling you back and telling me you need to do this. We need you for this. We need you for that. I'll just keep pushing forward. I'll get. I'll get to my paradise, and that's how I see things. I see things as distractions and ways to distract you from the life you're building, the life you deserve to have. And if we just keep agreeing to everything everybody tells us to do, or forced to do what everybody orders us, then you're never going to think and feel for yourself, you know? So just get through it. Just take each week at a time. Okay, today I have £7 if I pay all these bills today. And it's likely I will because it makes more sense. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot of phone calls, a lot of more management, more payment plans, more trying to fix this problem on top of this problem. It's not going to go away. So it's better for me just to sort that out, really. But I'd rather just know that the travel's sorted first. And then we'll wait. Then we'll wait until the next payment, and I'll figure out what's got to be paid, how far that can extend. Um, Excuse me. How limited I am with my food budget, for instance. I don't usually spend a lot. For instance, my food budget's usually like £50, £50 every 2 weeks or something shit. You just get what you need. You know, don't go too indulgy. You still get the odd little cake or something. You don't have to sort of go ridiculous. Um, but yeah, I'm good with resources. I think that's the thing. I'm good struggling. Like in the past, for instance, it was so bad that I would sometimes have like, let's say you got like £10 for shopping, and it's like, oh my god, how am I supposed to go? But you can do things. You can buy potatoes. You can buy pies. You can buy, get yourself some tinned beans, whatever you have. Effectively, I know it's boring, but literally, potatoes can go a long way if they're not expensive. They're actually really cheap. So you add potatoes. You've got yourself some pies. Let's say it's 4 in a pack. You've got 4 days worth of dinner. Then you can find something else and split it in between those meals. So that ain't like you ain't got pies every day, but maybe you alternate it. And you can start extending it. If you've got a freezer, you can start freezing it. All of a sudden, you can do something with a tenner. And it's like, these are things you could accomplish if you put your mind to it. When your resources are that tight, you have no choice. And I've seen people with very similar resources, they burn all their money out in one day because they don't want to eat like that. And they don't know what they're going to do for the rest of the week. And it's like, when you're down there, you have to think down there. You have to plan accordingly. So like I said, I didn't need to do this video. And I just felt, to be honest, as we are in 2025, I am stopping content. This isn't me doing this and I'm running away. I've already said I'm not going to create content, but I just thought because of my circumstance, I might speak on it a little bit here, just to help. It might help someone else that's in struggles, hopefully. But my plan really is to focus on my upcoming book now. I don't want the distractions of social media. And I've spoken recently as well that there's some content creators who I used to enjoy watching. In all honesty, I don't want to say it bores me, but it no longer has the effect that it did. I think I've outgrown a lot, and I think that's what's happening. So I have removed a lot of people from my following list, and I don't see this as a popularity contest. Some people do. I just treat that as people that I am still like their content still means something to me, or some, it's getting few and far between. But that's just how I feel. If someone hasn't communicated with me for a while, then what's the point? If you're doing it as a follow for like because you see it as a friendship in some way, or there was at some period. If it's not now, it's not now. It's not personal. It's just it's outgrown. Let's just move on. You do your journey. I'm on my journey. That's fine. But yeah, I was thinking about deleting the app at some point. Not deleting my account, but just deleting the app, just because it's starting. The content's starting to bore me, and I don't need the distraction if I'm working on my book. So my work is original. I don't use other people as resource to create. If it's a tarot reading, for instance, and it's resonated with me, I may include the tarot reading within the context of the book if I'm doing my spiritual book, for instance, to show relevance. And I think it shows those synchronicities, and I think that's really helpful. But yeah, I'm looking forward to really just focusing my time and energy on that now. It's going to push me away from social media. So, like, if anybody does try reaching out to me, it's not wise to reach out to me through TikTok because I may not even though the account's there, I may not even have the app installed. That's the thing. I may have it, may not. There are other ways to reach me than that. Hopefully, this has been some sort of like eye opener to people, because there's going to be people who have more money than me and they think they're doing better than me, and to each their own. It's not. I'm not in competition with anyone. People tend to be in competition with me. I find it baffling. But the trouble is, like, when I'm doing really well in life, they're going to look on and be like, they're going to be perplexed, aren't they? But because they were in competition when I was at my lowest, they're going to be distraught when I'm doing well. And it's like, shouldn't have assumed I'm going to struggle my whole life, should you?